A ballistic missile launched by Yemen's Houthi rebels struck Tel Aviv, a densely populated city in central Israel, causing injuries and triggering widespread panic among residents. Israeli officials confirmed that the missile breached the country's air defense systems, an occurrence that has heightened concerns about the growing sophistication of the Houthis' missile technology. The strike has drawn attention to the expanding reach of regional conflicts, underscoring the potential for further escalation amid Israel's ongoing military operations in Gaza and Lebanon. The missile, which caused injuries to multiple civilians, landed in a residential area, shattering windows, damaging structures, and leaving a scene of chaos in its wake. Witnesses described hearing a loud explosion followed by the sounds of emergency vehicles rushing to the site. Medical teams promptly attended to the injured, while police and military forces secured the area. Residents, many of whom had sought shelter in bomb shelters during the attack, emerged visibly shaken as they assessed the damage and tried to comprehend the sudden violence that had disrupted their lives. Israel's Iron Dome missile defense system, renowned for its ability to intercept short and medium-range rockets, has been a cornerstone of the nation's security strategy. However, the Houthis' ballistic missiles successfully evaded interception, raising questions about the robustness of Israel's air defense capabilities against more advanced or long-range threats. Military analysts have pointed to the increasing precision and range of Houthi missile technology, reportedly supported by Iran, as a significant factor in their ability to target cities like Tel Aviv. The Houthi rebels, who control large portions of Yemen, have claimed responsibility for the attack, framing it as retaliation for Israel's military operations in Gaza. In a statement, the group vowed to continue its assaults on Israel as long as the conflict persists, marking a significant shift in their previously localized campaign focused on the Saudi-led coalition in Yemen. The ability of the Houthis to target Israel with long-range missiles represents an alarming development, broadening the scope of their influence and introducing new complexities to an already volatile Middle East. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu convened an emergency meeting with top military and intelligence officials to discuss the attack and its implications. In a televised statement, Netanyahu condemned the missile strike, labeling it an act of terror and vowing to respond decisively. Israel will not tolerate attacks on its citizens. Those who harm us will face the full weight of our military power, Netanyahu declared. While he stopped short of announcing specific retaliatory measures, sources within the government suggested that a response targeting Houthi-controlled areas in Yemen is being considered. The attack has also sparked widespread alarm among Tel Aviv residents, many of whom were unprepared for a missile strike reaching their city. Although Tel Aviv has experienced rocket fire in the past during escalations with Hamas in Gaza, a ballistic missile launched from Yemen represents an entirely different level of threat. Residents described scenes of panic as sirens blared, warning them to take cover. Families scrambled to bomb shelters, while those caught outdoors sought refuge in whatever protected spaces they could find. The psychological impact of the attack is palpable. Tel Aviv, often seen as a cultural and economic hub relatively insulated from the conflict, now finds itself on the front lines of a broader regional confrontation. The missile strike has disrupted daily life, with schools and businesses temporarily closed as officials assess the security situation and residents grapple with the fear of potential follow-up attacks. Internationally, the attack has drawn condemnation from Israel's allies. The United States issued a statement reaffirming its unwavering support for Israel and denouncing the missile strike as a reckless escalation. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken called on the Houthis and their backers to cease hostilities and emphasized the importance of protecting civilians. The European Union also condemned the attack, with a spokesperson urging restraint on all sides to prevent further deterioration of the regional security situation. The Houthi missile strike comes amid an already volatile period in the Middle East, with multiple theaters of conflict overlapping and escalating. Israel is deeply engaged in military operations in Gaza following the October 7 attacks by Hamas, while tensions along the northern border with Hezbollah and Lebanon remain high. The addition of a new front, involving the Houthis in Yemen, stretches Israel's military capabilities and complicates its strategic calculations. Experts have highlighted Iran's role in supporting Houthi missile development, pointing to Tehran's provision of advanced weaponry and technical expertise. Iran's backing of the Houthis aligns with its broader strategy of exerting influence across the region through proxy groups, including Hezbollah and Hamas. Israeli officials have long warned about the dangers posed by this network of Iranian-aligned militias and their capacity to carry out coordinated attacks on multiple fronts. The attack on Tel Aviv underscores the interconnected nature of these conflicts and the risks of further escalation. As Israel considers its response, it must weigh the potential repercussions of opening a new front in Yemen, a theater already mired in one of the world's most devastating humanitarian crises. Retaliatory strikes against the Houthis could draw Israel deeper into a complex conflict with far-reaching implications, potentially triggering responses from other Iranian-aligned groups across the region. Meanwhile, the United Nations has called for calm, urging all parties to avoid actions that could escalate the situation further. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres expressed concern about the broadening scope of the conflict and its impact on civilian populations. The increasing reach and intensity of these attacks are deeply troubling. All parties must prioritize dialogue and restraint to prevent further loss of life and suffering, Guterres said. For the people of Tel Aviv, the attack is a stark reminder of the vulnerability of even the most well-defended cities in times of war. As residents begin to rebuild and recover, the sense of security that once defined life in the city has been fundamentally shaken. The missile strike, with its far-reaching implications, marks a turning point in the regional dynamics of the Middle East, one that could reshape the contours of conflict in the months and years to come.